Hello and welcome to the English YouTuber. In today's video, we're going to discuss the poem Fire and Ice written by Robert Frost. So in this video, we're going to discuss the poem, the themes, and also the literary devices. It's a very short video, so make sure you watch this video until the end. This poem is about eschatology. So eschatology is the theory of how the world will end. Here, two apocalyptic situations are described. So, apocalyptic situations mean situations that will cause the end of the world or total destruction of the world. One is through fire and the other is through ice. So, before we go into the explanation of the lines, first let's see the rhyming scheme. So, the rhyming scheme used in this poem is A, B, A, B, C, B, C, B type of rhyming scheme. If you see fire and desire and fire again, ice to ice and suffice, and here hate and greed. So if you see here, that kind of rhyming scheme is used. Okay, so let's go into the poem. So here the poem is written in one stanza. Some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. So when we read the first two lines, we believe that some anticipate the world will end in fire. So if you remember, there was an asteroid impact many million years ago which causes the extinction of dinosaurs. So some people believe that the world will end through fire, which could be an asteroid impact. Some say in ice, where there is the death of the sun. Because of coldness or because there is a lack of heat or warmth, everything could die. From what I have tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. So in the beginning, when we read the first two lines, we believe that the poet is talking about the asteroid impact or the death of the sun. But as we go further, we realize that the poet is talking in symbolism, where the fire symbolizes burning desire or ego, and the ice symbolizes coldness or indifference. I have explained this in detail later. First, we will just go through the poem at a glance. So he says, from what I have tasted of desire, so what experience I have, or what past experience I have of ego or burning desires or strong emotions, I hold with those who favor fire. So even I support that such a burning desire or ego can cause the destruction of the world. But if it had to perish twice, but if the world had to end again, I think I know enough of hate to say that for destruction, ice is also great. He says, but the destructive power of ice is also very strong. So ice symbolizes indifference or hate. So hate as a human emotion is also so strong that that can also cause the world to perish or destruct, and would suffice. Suffice means be enough. So here the poet talks about the human capacity for self-destruction. And here the speaker weighs two scenarios for the world to end. First is by strong emotions such as ego or burning desire, and the other being ice cold hatred or harshness. If both these emotions are left unchecked or not controlled, they have the capacity to perish the entire human race. So people usually have this discussion of how the world will end. But the poet says, looking at the strong emotions and negative emotions that are consuming the people around the world, those are going to be the reasons that will inevitably cause the end of the world or for human race to perish or get destroyed. So I have written this in detail in the themes that we're going to discuss later. First, let's see the literary devices. So if you see here, enjambment is used because there is no punctuations at the end. Okay, so let's discuss few of the literary devices. The first is assonance. So assonance is the repetition of the O vowel in this line. If you see, I hold with those who favor fire. So if you see repetition of the O vowel sound here in this sentence. So in this line, we can see the literary device assonance used. The next is alliteration. So alliteration is a repetition of a particular sound. It could be that of a vowel or of a consonant. So here consonant sounds F and W are repeated. In this sentence, if you see favor fire, the F sound is repeated. And here the world will. So the W sound is repeated. The next literary device used is imagery. So I told you imagery is used when the poet wants us to imagine and use our senses to imagine the particular situation. The world will end in fire, some say in ice. So when the poet says the world will end in fire, we actually imagine the world ending with fire everywhere and everything burning. And some say in ice, so we imagine the scenario of everything is ice cold and frozen. So here imagery makes us imagine this scenario. Anaphora. So anaphora means repetition of a particular word in consecutive lines. So if you see here, some say the world will end in fire. Some say. So some say these words are repeated in two lines. So that is called anaphora. The next literary device is personification. So what is personification? Giving a lifelike trait to something that is non-living. So here fire and ice is personified and they are given the power and mind to cause total destruction of the world. The next, as I already told you, for enjambment is used in the last four lines. So these are the literary devices that are used in this poem. Now let's talk about the symbolism of fire and ice in detail. So here, fire symbolizes strong consuming emotions or burning desires like ego, which is a negative trait. So ego can also cause a person to form jealousy and it is as destructive as fire. And the ice symbolizes coldness, ice cold hatred or harshness and indifference. So this is a trait that if people are cold to each other and this isolation will cause the human race to perish as humans will not be able to bear isolation. So fire and ice are two elements that are considered or perceived to be total opposites. However, they have equal power of destruction. As destructive fire is, ice is also as destructive as that. So even if they're negatives, they are equally destructive. So they might not be different after all. They are quite similar in their actions or impact. Now let's look at the theme of the poem. What the poet wants to tell us. The first is human capacity for self-destruction. So we humans are capable enough to destroy ourselves. Human emotions have the power for destruction, where emotions such as desire, which is the symbolism of fire, and indifference, which is the symbolism of ice, can be reasons for the end of the world. So we do not need huge apocalyptic scenarios like asteroid impact or the total death of the sun. But even such human emotions are as powerful as them to cause the end of the human race. If the emotions such as ego and hatred is left unchecked, so if that is not controlled, it has the capacity to wipe out the entire human race. So we should control these emotions. So the poem teaches us the valuable lesson that the human race should let go of strong consuming emotions such as greed, desire, fury. Fury means anger, coldness, indifference, and be more compassionate towards each other. Compassionate means caring towards each other and let go of these negative traits. So, this is a beautiful poem written by Robert Frost. I hope you enjoyed listening to the explanation, and I would request you to watch more of English videos because your exam is in English. And unless and until you stop thinking in Hindi and start thinking in English, that is when you're definitely going to ace the examination. Study well, God bless you, and if you haven't subscribed, do it right now. Thank you so much.